Welcome to everyone to How We Face the Horseman. I'm Jan Thomas, co-producer of Unbox Productions. I want to tell you many years ago, my co-producers, Kim Sandstrom and I, were best friends in high school. We did everything together. Especially we were on the speech team and we were in theater together. After that, we kept in touch. I went to college and I trained to be a teacher and continued to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce my co-producer, Kim Sandstrom, and the author of How We Face the Horseman.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Jan. Sure appreciate you. And it's been fun being a co-producer with you the last couple of years. It's kind of an anniversary for us. So ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Unbox Productions presents an original, or as we like to call them, a fresh play. So newborn that you will be seeing it for the first time this weekend before any other audience does. It's the very first time after it's been written that we are producing it. But what we have rehearsed for you is what we call an advanced table read. We have music, we have actors, lighting, props, and we have a lot of courage. Our cast has been rehearsing for about a month, but each actor is in his or her own studio stage area in their own home. Tonight, we come to you from New York City, Dallas, Texas, Portland, Oregon, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Bellevue, Florida. It's pretty exciting. This play was written this winter as a memorial to all those that we have lost to COVID and what we have learned from this experience with COVID, and is dedicated to those who have helped us through the last 2+ years. And tonight's presentation, we will donate 50% of everything, all proceeds from last night and tonight, and everything that's coming in over the next week, to a shelter in Dnipro, Ukraine. And the balance will go to supporting future Unboxed productions. Because of the subject matter, we have invited licensed grief counselor Amy Rath to be with us this evening. And we also have a special guest here tonight, all the way from Dnipro, Ukraine. We have Tatiana Eliashenko, and it is her church in Dnipro that is currently hosting refugees in their shelter. And that's where our proceeds will be going. Our presentation lasts approximately an hour and 15 minutes without intermission. We hope that you stay with us for our Afterglow back talk with our guests, casts, and audience. Now, our play takes place in 3 different centuries. The first act, with George Chapman, takes place in 1593 in London. Act 2 takes place in Philadelphia in 1918, many centuries later. And the last act takes place starting in March of 2020. I want you to pay special attention to the narrator because she is your guide through these centuries. Listen closely to what she has to say. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. We love our audience. And now it's on with the show.
Welcome. Ecclesiastes, the teacher, wrote, "There is nothing new under the sun." Today, you will see a play about something that felt new, but had happened many times before. We'll be doing a little play, a play done in 3 pictures, a triptych, if you will. We tell our story in picture frames. Each frame is a story in itself, and we are not just the we of today, artists, actors, storytellers, expressive souls. We are the we of yesteryears who faced virulent, tiny, unseen monsters who invaded our breath and blood and sinew and flesh. And on either side of these pictures, wars raged. Our stories focus on the unseen wars of our flesh that were fought with little ammunition but prayers. The year is 1593. Shh, please be quiet as George Chapman, newly employed playwright of Blackfriars Theatre, London, formerly a decorated soldier of the Low Country Wars, now fulfilling his calling as a word warrior, is working, and he's not to be disturbed. George has been in the employ of Blackfriars a short while, and he has to keep this job no matter what. Our dear playwright George is not good with numbers, and wages never seem to add up right. There has been talk of running away to the Americas and the jungles of Virginia. But for tonight, just for tonight, he is committed to his writing. Our scene opens with George Chapman, playwright. In late middle age, once a soldier, now writing for Blackfriars, once fit and strong, now slightly dissipated, writing with quill and ink and parchment.
Hear ye, hear me! The cause of plagues is sin, and the cause of sin are plays, and so the cause of plagues are plays. Repent! Show remorse! Turn from this wild, enticing wickedness!
Oh, shut up! Ya vagabondy! Ya wandering, bottom-feeding priest! Present company excluded, eh, Lord? I can't think with all this carry-on outside. Food! I need food. And I need it now. Been a donkey's year since we had anything decent to eat. Peter! Peter! Bring me some milk and bread. And leave it outside the door. And I don't want to hear nary a bleat out of you. Hurry up. I'm faint with hunger. Every day, the word is that the sickness is spreading like a fast-moving flood. Magna mortalitas. We've lost 3 players for Westwood Ho. And Simon, Simon, our brightest fair-haired star is sick unto death. Not yet 15, Peter. I can't shake the sadness. Hurry up with that bread and milk. We will never see the likes of Simon trotting the boards again, will we, Peter? Lad, are you almost here? Ugh. Aye, bless you, Peter. You even brought me some cheese. And it's like pure cream with the mold. Yes, poor Simon. Nimble of stage, nimble of voice, the best of players, stricken with the scarlet slayer of this one and that one. And now our Simon, our Jack, our Oliver, our cook Nell, and our costumer Penelope, our sweet Penny. I don't know how we keep on playing. How much longer before we blow out our candles, pack up our props, close our curtains, and lock the doors, and wait. Wait again, damn it, again, for the cloud of pestilentia to pass over us, while the darkest death Providence ever unleashed on humanity reaps a horrid harvest of friends, our dear friends. What shall I do, Peter? What shall any of us do? That's right. I told you not to speak. You are a good kid, even if you make me want to pull out every hair I will ever have sometimes with your ructions. Never mind. Get some rest, Peter. We may be leaving tomorrow or the next day, back on the grand tour, the Regal Roundabout, heading to Kent or Manchester, hoping there will be places to play our play and people to play our play too. But if I don't make hay while there's still life in me, there'll be no plays to play. Peter, Do you rue the day you joined me on this adventure? You were an able aide de camp to my captainry. Honestly, Peter, I survived because of you. Don't think I don't appreciate you. I do. That you left the army to follow me is still a mystery, but one I am grateful for. I imagine you've had a better life with me than you would have had on that dung heap of a blot of a map, Skulls and Elmont. What a sorry place to have been born. You are better off with me, lad, and smart enough to know it too. Peter, did you read this edict? It says we have a day to close shop, refund our benefactors, and go elsewhere till it passes. Imagine Queen Elizabeth without her mask and theatricals. Whatever will Her Majesty do? She likely will find a way, I imagine that. She won't go or do without, will she, Peter? Are you not there? I guess you're already loading our kit. Thanks be to you, Peter. Glad of your good health. The great Will shakes and his hand buried 2 babes. Too much even for Queen Bess to take. And now we are closed. I imagine Will see this as opportunity to take over Blackfriars. For St. Peter's sake, it's criminal to let him take all we worked so hard for. But so many of our boys have perished. It has to happen. It has to be, but why? Oh, for the love of Ecclesiastes, does it just not go away? Peter, bring me a blackjack of strong rum. Run to the Abbey and ask Friar Christopher for it. And yes, I said a blackjack full. I need it. Word on the cobbles is that Shakespeare has set his sight on Blackfriars now that we can't perform, now that we've lost 2/3 of our boys, our wonderful troupe of actors. And when that happens, I really will be gone. And Simon will be gone. And Will be here. Will's will has come to be. He's always wanted what we have here. Peter! Damn you, son, what is taking you so long? Peter? Are you well, lad? Oh, please, don't you be sick too.
George continues to write, albeit a bit rummed up, drowning his fears and his tears. It will be interesting to see what his next scenes in Westward Ho bring. And yet, we look westward now, all the way west to Philadelphia and the ornate Crystal Theater, a truly awe-inspiring building of opulent ornation. The year is 1918. How thrilled Richard and Emily, that burgeoning vaudevillian team. He, a younger man, idolizing his English rose, Emily Ann. Not only did they love the theater, they loved every aspect of it. And Richard, an amateur carpenter, made miniatures of theaters and sets and furniture, and Emily Ann adored his devotion to both her and the theater. Emily Ann loved Richard's miniature sets. She could take them on the road with her and keep Richard with her too. I have one of Richard's miniature replica sets for you to see. This one is from Emily Ann Wellman's breakout hit play, The Actor's Lady. Sounds autobiographical, don't you think? Look at the detail. Oh my God. It's so tiny and so well, amazing. Together, they traveled from theater to theater, from season to season, and from play to play. The drums of war beat in Europe, and unknown to Emily and Richard, the most murderous of germs was brewing in the Kansan barracks of American soldiers. Soldiers were sickened during basic training and sent unknowingly to England, France, Germany, Belgium, and Spain. It was Spain that reported the heartbreaking outbreaks when no one else would. Want to guess why it's called the Spanish flu?
Richard, you are on point tonight, mon chéri, throwing me a fan when my feathered fan faded far away from my fingers. Feathers landing left and right in the audience. Did you see that lady? You know the one with the Gibson girl pompadour hair and a pompadour bosom to match. She got a full bunch of my tail feathers in her mouth. I almost broke character. But, you know, I would never do that. Oh, Richard, we are a good team. Let's keep all this good going, my love. What a great audience. What a great show. Everything was perfect tonight. Liberty Loan even had Richard and I on a float in a massive parade. My fingers froze blowing kisses. It was cold and windy, but so much fun. I have never been in such a big crowd. Have you, Richard? Oh, such a week. Oh, I hope we get held over for another week. It's been a little spooky lately. So much sad news. Seems like we're losing one friend after another. In Boston and New York, and Mum and Daddy are still okay, my British Briggs. Richard, darling, is that you? Oh. Dear Miss Warren, we regret to inform you that your show, The Actor's Lady, a truly inventive and wondrous new work by an esteemed playwright of your fair gender, will not be performed in St. Louis this November due to an outbreak of deadly influenza. Please stay in contact with our agency so that we can update you on when we will be opening our theater again. Again, we and many others look forward to the time when we open our stage for your great play. Signed, Willard P. Fairweather, producer, the Orpheum Theatre. Well, that's that, by Zeus. Brought me up full stop, didn't it? I thought this madness of sickness was going away. I never got sick. Richard never got sick. And here we are at the Crystal Palace. Finally, we were back on our way to Broadway with The Actor's Lady. And I don't want to stay either, Richard. But if we have to stay, we can do it. These Philadelphians don't seem to care one whit about a little flu bug. See, in the paper, not one headline about any old influenza, just about the war, the damn war. I pray Richard is not called to go. And here we are running around like there's no tomorrow. No tomorrow? Where did that expression come from anyway? Damn it. Damn! The Actor's Lady, truly our best, my best work. Richard, and oh, Richard, what are we going to do? St. Louis, well, now, look at how high and mighty they've become, and them not 5 years past their lost gunfight at the old K Corral. Okay, wrong city, I know, but same idea. And I know I'm always getting your American history wrong, Richard, but Philly is so refined, and every time we go west, well, Richard, it's awfully awful sometimes. And now those clodhoppers are closing us, closing Richard and I, and my play, my baby. Richard, when you're finished putting your things away, I have something to tell you, baby. No, it's okay. I can wait till you're done. Just be careful with my large hats, please, darling. Last time some of the feathers were broken and we won't be able to replace. I can do this. This girl can do this. What am I going to do? I'm going to do this. I hope Richard can do this too. How will I tell him that we will have to stay here in Philadelphia, his hometown, a place he couldn't wait to get away from? Now we have to stay because one by one, Every other place we could go is closed, shut, beanies. The actor's lady is on ice, on hold. Bloody hell. Richard, is that you coughing? Vicky, dear, are you okay? Richard, hold on, I'm coming. Put this down. Richard, let me help you. Stop. Oh, darling, I'm coming.
While Emily Ann sees to Richard and George and Peter pack their props and costumes, we move ever forward to March 2020, a time when theaters often break out comedies to light up a dark, cold winter, and meet Eric from Portland, Oregon. Eric is a Renaissance man. Reminds me of George, as a matter of fact.
I was directing the play, Sweet Surrender, and that's sweet, not sweet. And in the middle of the rehearsal, I received a text. Our theater would be closed indefinitely due to the coronavirus. How did that feel? Angry, confusing, scary. Creativity interrupted.
I had just been cast as Weezer in a local production of Steel Magnolias, a part I was born to play. I survived the Hong Kong flu and the swine flu, so I was not bothered by all this talk out there of sickness. I had lived through a few things, and a little flu bug was not going to stop me. Excuse me, I have to get back to my script.
And now, all the way from Dallas, Texas, let's meet Margie.
I was up to my eyeballs in pins and needles trying to get this costume finished for a new play about suffragettes. But then there was a lot of talk in the Dallas area about a wave of sickness coming. Lord, I hope it holds out until my play is put to bed. But the word in Los Angeles and New York City and London and frankly everywhere is that life's going to be different for a while. I have friends all over the world, and several of them are very sick right now. One of them is in the hospital.
And at the ready, we have Jackie.
February 2020, I received an email that a play I had been helping my friend Kate write, her true story, Unboxing in Biloxi, was just picked up to be produced by a West Coast theater company. My excitement was uncontained. I had told Kate years ago, when we were friends in high school and college, that I would direct her in a play one day. We had almost fulfilled my prophecy. Kate, you continue.
Well, then came the storm clouds and a darkening of the atmosphere everywhere you looked. Pandemic, quarantine, contact testing, ventilators, masks, mitigation, and more were becoming common words. On March 14th, the president announced a nationwide lockdown. At that moment, we, my husband, friends, all relayed the same message. This feels like a movie, and it doesn't feel real. Everything was surreal. And my play, Unboxing in Biloxi, was to be on hold indefinitely. Then I received a phone call on the same day, a call no one ever wants to take.
Suddenly, internet headlines all over the world stated that the world was at war, and the enemy was an enemy combatant that could only be seen under a microscope, smaller than the germ-carrying plague fleas common in ages past. George knew a thing or two about fleas. That's a valiant flea that dares eat its breakfast on the lips of a lion. Thank you, thank you. No, George didn't write that, but Shakespeare did, and he wrote it with a flourish. Fleas, bugs, microorganisms, Black Death, influenza, all a part of those ancient times. And now we faced Corona Horribilis. From March 2020 to March 2022, a modern purge. This current pestilence came like a 400-year flood. Rivulets turned into tributaries, and eventually the world was a sea of sickness. Just as George and Emily were forced to make the ultimate creative choice, for the actors in the third picture of our triptych, choices had to be made. 2 weary years have passed when next we see George, and George has news. London has now, by the Queen's decree,
London has now, by the Queen's decree, closed all theaters, all cathedrals, all shops and markets and public gatherings, including executions effective March 14th, 1593. Any Londoner who violates this edict will be prosecuted, confined, and quarantined to their homes for a period of time. All Londoners are asked to comply so that we may, by the help of Almighty God, defeat this evil plague. All Londoners are asked to stay home, limit any time away from their homes, and cover their mouths. May God save us. Well, there it is. Just as I've returned, I have to leave again. Just as I had another popular play, I have to leave again. Just as I get a decent, well-heeled benefactor, he dies from the plague. Damn you, Lord Beasley. Ugh. If I wasn't so rotted out from the quarantine, slopping and drinking like a wild boar, I could pull myself together, take a wild gamble, and knock on Lady Beasley's door for a giggle and a gamble. Alas, another fallow field in my life. No lady and no not a lady wants to do the do with old George these days. Yet I need to keep my quills sharp and remember that Will and I are in a quarantine contest, each of us seeing who can outright each other, each of us using our pen as a jousting lance, thrusting it at Elizabeth, at the church, at the commoners, at each other. The last quarantine has hurt the most. Pete and I could no longer crab and grouse about the old days like we used to. Even the priest had to stay away. No more rumming and ruminating with Friar Anthony anymore. It is, without a doubt, the most solitary epoch of my life. Too much solitude makes a man lose his senses. And now I have to leave again. By George, George, you have the worst luck. Or maybe no luck at all. Not good. None of this is good at all. It's hard to carry on. Peter's under the daisies, God rest his soul easy. And I am as alone as I have ever been. What is left for me to do? Shakespeare got his way, got my plays and my play palace, my stage, my actors. And so I found this little teatro palace, and now it is closed. Not 1 minute of my military service, not one moment of slogging through the Low Countries, faithful Peter at my side, has been as onerous as these last 2 suffering years of my life. What? What are you saying, Lord? Yes, God, I hear you. I know it's not my fault. It's not your fault. Not Shakespeare's fault. It's not anyone's fault. But it feels like it should somehow be someone's fault. Yes, some said it was the fault of plays and theaters themselves, and even actors were to blame. But you have shown the world it is not our fault. It is not our fault. We not only kept writing, kept rehearsing, kept creating, we kept on believing that our stagecraft would, little by little, word by word, laugh by laugh, and tear by tear, help us heal. Hi, by Jove, that had a ring, didn't it? Oh, sorry again, Lord, Father, God Almighty. I am remiss to call upon the lesser God of Rome. Oh. A plague upon it when thieves cannot be true to one another. A plague of sighing and grief. It blows a man up like a bladder. A plague upon this howling. A plague upon this pickled herring. How now? Even so quickly may one catch the plague. Methinks I feel this youth's perfections with an invisible and subtle stealth to creep in at mine eyes. Well, let it be. Here's to you, Will, and Simon, Peter, Penny, and I see you. I see you, horsemen coming. I see you, and you, and you.
George eventually did enjoy a gamble with Lady Beasley, but he never made it to the wilds of Virginia. It's possible his illicit time with the fair widow Beasley produced an unrecognized heir who one day did go to the Americas. Two long years have passed since the day of the Philadelphia Liberty Bonds Parade, where Emily and Richard, star of the Actors Lady, waved to adoring crowds from their patriotic float, sandwiched between a group of mummers and Mrs. Beasley's School of Dance and Elocution. 2 years since Emily's hat feathers sticking in an audience member's mouth punctuated the closing line of The Actors Lady, and 2 years since they closed The Actors Lady in Philadelphia. 2 years since the night Richard became so sick that Emily became his personal Florence Nightingale for the next 8 weeks, a role that Emily had a difficult time portraying. But she soldiered on, and eventually Richard recovered. They did their best, their utmost, ever putting on the brave face, the brave front, and in Emily's words, putting their carry on. Richard loved that about Emily, and Emily and Richard stuck together, catch as catch can. The first year, well, that was very much the hardest year they had ever known. Every entertainment venue from vaudeville to straight shows to burlesque, dance halls to follies were on hold. Emily thought they might end up busking. Emily's plays were not being produced, and Richard was now doing real carpenter jobs to make ends meet when he could get them. He sold some of his best carpentry tools, which broke his heart. With every venue closed, Emily and Richard lived off their savings till they couldn't.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not mocked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there, scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Emily, Lady Macbeth, so early in the morning. Lass, what's wrong?
Oh.
Emily, what is it, lamb?
Oh, I don't know.
What? What has you so heartbroken this morning?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Nothing. Nothing is right.
Emmy, hang on, kid. I will be back soon.
Okay. Be careful out there. The weather is terrible.
Tell me about it. I slipped on the ice this morning.
Oh, Richard, don't tell me that. You sweet, clumsy boy. Are you okay? You're still healing that broken thumb you hammered the other day.
Yes, I'm fine. Just be gentle when you hug me, lamb. Might have cracked a rib. But have no fear, I will be right as rain soon. Back in an hour, bringing you a treat.
I love you, Richard. Well, at least I have you, my little beauty, my baby, to keep me good company. Out of the Storm by Emily Ann Wellman. Wellman. Should I use Wellman? Or Richard's name, Gordon? Emily Ann Gordon. Emily Ann Gordon. Emily Ann Gordon. Emily Ann Wellman. That's it, Emily Ann Wellman, and let's not mess about further. Out of the Storm, a play in 3 acts telling the story of one woman's formidable strength caring for her husband through a mysterious illness. Doctors could not cure him, priests could not cure him, but one woman's love did. I think this hat would look marvelous as Flora enters stage left, act 1, her husband, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And then we can have a second hat, a dummy hat, tattered and torn and disheveled for act 3, scene 3, as Flora arrives in the nick of time to save her beloved from bad medicine. Oh, I am so in love with this play. Richard will love it too. Soon and very soon. You, my little meal ticket, are going in the post today. It's starting to snow again. Perhaps it's best to wait until the storm passes. I hope Richard gets back soon. I don't want you to get wet either, you sweet thing. What shall I call you, my next creation? Before the storm passed, passing the storm, storm passings. I like Before the Storm Passed. It can be about Richard and I after the Actors Lady closed in Philly, after the shows closed in Missouri, Boston, Chicago, everywhere, and how we didn't give up. Richard shall be called Charles, a good, trustworthy name. And I will be called Adele? Well, at least for now. Oh, this is going to be good and sad and good and sadder until I write a happy ending. Oh, Richard, you're back. I'm hungry. Let me put on some tea, darling. I have some good news. I am writing again.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
Yes, that's right, darling. We are on the go again.
And go they did, all the way back to Broadway. But not all great teams remain together. Lucy and Desi, Captain and Tennille, that was a weird author choice. Martin and Lewis, Laurel and Hardy. And now we learn that Emily and Richard went their separate ways. Richard Gordon became the very first voice of Sherlock Holmes on the radio, true story, and was beloved for years for this work. Emily faded into obscurity, and Richard kept moving forward in radio and early television. But they faced their horsemen. George nearly made it to the wilds of the New World, but managed to keep writing and cobbling together actors and venues. At least we hope so. He too faced his horsemen. And now it's time for me to fade out and show you our last framed picture, the picture of how we faced the horsemen.
Okay, it's only March 10th, and Seattle's theaters are all closed. And Unboxing in Biloxi's West Coast premiere is officially canceled.
Canceled. I was looking forward to all of us flying out to Seattle and having a grand old time.
Not happening now.
I was looking forward to seeing our play on its feet. And as far as I can see, exactly 0 theaters will be open for all of 2021. With everything else happening, I just wanted this one good thing to happen. I'm telling you, Jackie, we have to figure out something.
No, it's important. The writing is so good.
It is good, even if we do say so ourselves. It's not the writing as much as the story needs to be told.
Any ideas?
I don't know why we can't do our show online.
Online? Online? Oh, come on. Who's going to log on to see a play online? Really? Really?
I am being real with you. I am so serious. It's doable. I can see it working.
Well, Lucy, maybe. Nah, I can't quite envision it, how it would work.
Well, what are our options? Sit still, do nothing, just do nothing. No creating, no writing, no directing, no telling our true stories anymore. Sorry, I can't abide that, Jackie. I just can't. I have gotten too old and have come too far to just stop.
I hear you. I'm proud of you. It took a lot to tell that story, and I'm so glad you asked me to help you, and that's what makes this so damn frustrating.
Well, there was no one other person to ask but you. We always said we would one day put on a show. Jackie, listen, try to remember for a moment. Back in the day when your daddy Earl and my mom Julianne were young, TV first got going.
Yes, I think I remember.
Well, back then, when we were babies and our parents were young, at 7 p.m., they would plop down with our TV dinner after putting us to bed, and there would be live shows, broadcasts from New York or Chicago or LA. And they looked forward to and watched live shows. Families would sit down to watch live shows all the time. It was not thought of as weird or uncommon. They even broadcast live plays that way. Stop, look what I just rabbit holed on Wiki. From the early days of television until about 1958, live television was used heavily. It goes on to say that even the show ER did it 2 live shows as it was thought to make it more exciting.
Saturday Night Live? We all just parked in front of a screen and watched it live.
Still do.
Yes, but all the actors were in the same room, even if the audience was in Podunk, Indiana.
I know. But just calm down and listen. We are capable of creating something watchable, even online.
All right. I am calm. Go on.
It's just a matter of getting people to think differently.
Well, I'm just not getting it, I guess.
Okay. Think of it like this. If our audience can't go to the mountain, we will bring the mountain to our audience. We bring theater to you in the comfort of your own home.
Okay. Keep going.
And it's the safest place to be right now, your own home.
Got it. Keep on.
And there are more ups than downs to this.
That's it? That's all you got?
Well, for right now, yes, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
What's with all the one-liners?
I am on a roll. That's what's with the one-liners. This can work with work.
I just heard work. I think I heard a lot of work.
It won't be that hard.
It won't be that hard, Lucy said.
And we will make a lot of money. What? Why are you laughing? We may really take off.
When this coronavirus nonsense is over, theaters will be back better than ever. I'm sure every theater will have their fall-winter season announced soon. Theaters are not going to be dark long.
And what if theaters don't open for a year? Ethel, what if they don't fully open for more than a year, 2 years? What do you say to that?
I say, I'm going to cry.
Oh, I know. I have been crying, but we can't just cry for the next year. We need to do something. We need to fill in this gap with whatever we can do. And right now, the only available option is a small personal theater, live and online.
Oh, How do you propose this online theater work?
Well, I had an idea that we could use those online meeting programs like
Cisco, WebEx, Skype?
yeah, and like Zoom.
What? I don't think so. Who would go to that? We'll look like little Muppets on the Hollywood squares.
Oh, come on. Think differently. Cognitive flexibility is a sign of great intelligence. Let's not be rigid.
Okay, Lucy. Let's suppose I say yes.
Yeah, I heard the word yes. You said yes.
This is another fine mess you've gotten me into, Ollie.
Hey, you said in high school you wanted to direct me in a play. You may get your chance, even if it is online.
Yeah, I did say that.
Let me make some calls, send some emails, do a Facebook page, and let's take Unboxing in Biloxi to an online audience.
All right. Let's shake virtual hands on it. Okay. That was weird. I guess we shook virtual hands. I have no idea what I've gotten myself into, but you do have a lot of enthusiasm for this.
Live online theater. Live online theater. Say it. It's not hard. And we can call tickets linkets because you get links, not tickets per se. And we can even have virtual dinner theater.
Okay, stop now.
Oh, it kind of deal with HelloFresh or Blue Apron, and people can order a dinner of their choice to go with our show.
You have worn me out, Kate.
I'm so sorry. That's how I am.
Yeah, we know. Wave bye-bye.
Bye. I'm so encouraged. Thank you, Jackie.
Good Lord. I need to rest my brain. I think I was upselled and bought more than an apple. I bought the orchard. Well, looks like we're putting on a show a la Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Except we are not the saplings in the orchard anymore. We're the gnarled and knotty crabapple trees in the orchard. It's okay. I see sunflowers in that orchard too. And sunflowers know where to point.
And they kept going without a single clue as to what to do. The live online theater manual had not yet been written.
It was just do one thing. And if it worked, keep going. If something didn't work, we wasted no time on it. Oh, hey, it's Eric again. It hurt not to do live theater, but when Jackie and Kate reached out to me all the way in Seattle from their homes in Indianapolis and Orlando, Florida, I too was intrigued. A little backstory. Kate and I knew each other through friends of friends on social media. We were 2 degrees from separation from each other, but theater and mutual friends eventually connected us. When Kate and later Jackie reached out, well, I guess that word intrigued was the only one that fits. I kept rolling it around in my mind. Could we draw an audience? Would an original play with heavy subject keep an audience, especially live, online? Could theater make the same impact in this new hybrid form? Should we start with tried and true Neil Simon comedy or bag the whole idea? Could we make it work? And how would it be for the actors not to hear clapping, breathing, laughter, sighs, sobs? Finally, I just cast my reservations aside. I was assigned a small role in Unboxing in Biloxi and volunteered my skills and help with the backstage management.
I live in Kansas City. That's Central Time, which is a whole other order of difficulty to tell you about. Time zones. And I played Alice in Unboxing in Biloxi, a sublime role, better than Weezer, if I may say so. I love that this little group of theater geeks was not given up. You know, I came to theater late in life, and the idea of shutting down theaters was, well, anathema, darling. I live in Kansas City now, but I grew up in Miami. and I was every bit the belle of Miami. My husband's duty station was in Fort Riley, Kansas, during Korea and Vietnam. Don't even try to guess my age. You will vastly underestimate me. And in Kansas, we remained. Back when we first arrived, long before there were anywhere near retirement, there were only a few little theaters. Now, Fort Riley even has a theater. But I received this call from Jackie Thompson from Indianapolis. She got my name from a friend who knew a friend who knew a friend. She described doing a play in my home. I had been in online meetings, and my children and my grandchildren were even Zooming with me to keep us close. So I knew that much. I admit I had a little trouble understanding Jackie and Kate's vision, but they sent me the script for their original show, Unboxing in Biloxi, and I was cast as Alice, a chain-smoking 80-year-old grandmother with her own YouTube channel, where she unboxes magnetic eyelashes and mood rings. She dishes out unwelcome wisdom with the vibe of a naughty grandmother. I love her.
This little theater company caught my attention, by golly. When 2 months into this 2-year slog of sickness, every theater project I had a hand in the Dallas area was paused or stopped, and some of them were never going to come back. But this odd ensemble were kind of goofy to me, and, well, it didn't make a lot of sense at first. They were definitely not technically savvy, and they wanted to create theater in an online space or an online platform. I mean, I really didn't think they could do it, but I understood their need to do it.
I was skeptical. I have seen little theater companies come and go for many years. I had been cast again in a great role. I had bookings to play her again and again, and all bookings was now dead in the water. I was depressed. There, I said it. I was depressed. But I felt ashamed by my moodiness. After all, so many in the world were hurting, a lot more than I was, and I had not yet known anyone to get sick. I hid my depression, but I was very, very low at this time. With the lockdown and everything closed, I was eating instead of acting, and I didn't like that one bit. When Jackie and Kate reached out to me, I thought they were a little crazy and just possibly a little brilliant. And together, we moved forward.
Eventually, Jackie and Kate began to stir the creative juices, and a few of us from coast to coast. And we worked together, but none of us ever breathed the same air, nor touched each other, nor hugged or laughed all over each other. We were alive, we were live and together, but only online. Only by sight and sound. Touch and smell, we couldn't do anything about, but Kate even had an idea about taste. She had an idea for dinner theater.
Yes, I can see people gathering in small, intimate dinner theater parties and watching our shows. So for us, 3 out of 5 senses ain't bad.
That sweet show I was directing, Sweet Surrender, I begged my gorgeous cast not to give up, to have faith that we would bring our art to a live audience. Eventually, I emailed Jackie and Kate and I wrote the following. Okay, Jackie and Kate, tell me more.
Oh, we told him more. Jackie sold them on the idea, and I sold them on the sizzle.
Kate's play, Unboxing in Biloxi, was going up after all. We had our Alice, we had our Karen, and Eric was going to play the senator and help us with backstage. We were in live theater mode again.
So I watched a few table reads online that were being tried at the time.
And I did too, and said, what a great start. And we were going forward in the same way we were going to, with an on your feet, with the same attention to detail, set, costume, props, rehearsal schedule, memorization, great direction. Jackie agreed. The cast agreed. And then the angels came.
Oh, there were definitely theater angels. Z, Dee, Lee, and Christy, many more, giving their offstage talent to make this live online theater only work. And it was work.
I said it was holy work. We set a date, November 17th, 18th, 19th, 2020. The audience got their linkets. They logged on. They wrote in the chat. They stayed after. And we all talked, and then we went home down the hallway and settled down for the night. This was an evening that satisfied our creativity and gave a gift to the audience.
It was good enough to make me want to continue.
We then chose 2 more plays and did them too. And the audiences kept coming and no one complained. We asked them to keep open-minded and to give us a chance. And they did.
2 years of online creativity continued, and we reached March 2022. I was one of the blessed ones. I never caught corona.
I caught COVID, and so did my husband. It was touch and go for a while. We lost many friends.
My health required me to stay safe, isolated, and I never got corona. But one of my closest friends' son did.
I never caught corona, but many of my friends did.
I caught corona in January 2020, following our holiday family gatherings. 10 members of my family also were sick. On March 14th, 2020, I received the call that no one wants to take. I had been working on my play, figuring out the next best step when the call came.
Kate, you're going backwards in telling this.
Yes, I know I am, Jackie.
I was still working on helping Kate edit and market Unboxing in Biloxi, ready to send to some more theaters when Kate called me.
I know I went backwards, Jackie, but I have to. Before we did all this, before any of what we did happened, corona happened to us, and it happened to my people. Among my family, several adult children were sick, one in New York City and one in Orlando, Florida, and one closest to me. We knew he was sick, but I didn't know how sick he was.
It's okay, Kate. Go on.
I'm trying to.
I struggled so hard for composure when she called me.
My beautiful, decorated soldier son collapsed from a COVID embolism.
March 14th, 2020.
He is now my advocate with God.
Knowing Kate for so many years, I could only think of this young man as he was a child, kind and bright. That he was in the Army for so many years surprised everyone.
We had to wait a full year, March 2021, for my sergeant son's military honors funeral. All the national military cemeteries had to reopen.
I was so worried about Kate. She had faced many things before.
I had faced a horseman before. I knew the outline, the posture, the stance, the voice of the horseman. But this time, for the first time, I was not mourning alone. The whole world and I were in mourning together. And yes, it felt like that for even a short amount of time, enough time to know that I was not alone.
Days went by.
Cold, lonely days of the early pandemic, when grief usually finds a tiny respite with church casseroles, condolence visits, and I realized that this time would be different, and I would need to pull myself up and together.
Called Kate, assured her that we were here for her, and still here and at the ready if she wanted to go forward.
I called.
I wrote.
I called, texted, and emailed. And one morning I received an email.
It took a while for Kate to reply.
One empty morning, I changed my mind about the future. I looked at the millions of people all over this planet who had to endure, and I felt their courage. And I emailed all those we had gathered. I wrote that we had to stay alive and keep creating, and then I said, I am at the ready. Let's go.
2 years have passed. It's now March 2022, 2 years of lockdowns, quarantines, mass political fights, and arguments were now lifted. The political enmity of this pandemic was as awful as the corona. While relieved, we also feel somewhat hung over from it all. Our married band kept creative alliances open and free from political nonsensory.
By the way, I was wonderful as Alice in Kate and Jackie's unboxing in Biloxi. And I hope this little theater brings that show back.
And I have decided that there are some unsung playwrights that we may need to revive now in the public domain.
Public domain, huh? I like that. No royalties.
One who lived through a pandemic, Emily Ann Wellman, just went down a researcher's rabbit hole and found her. She was something else.
How about that contemporary of Shakespeare, George Chapman? That might be different to do. I had to read one of his plays in college. He was an odd fellow, though.
I'm leaning toward Emily Ann Wellman.
Okay, Kate, send me Emily Ann Wellman stuff.
Well, I will, when I can find a file. After the Spanish flu, she didn't do a lot. But for a short time, just before the Spanish flu, Miss Wellman was on her way to fame and fortune. But her miniaturist husband, Richard, well, wait until I tell you what happened to him after World War I and the Spanish Kansas flu. Our first season included the incredible, indomitable show Irma Bombeck at Wits End. We had a wonderful actress from Sacramento, Jill, and she worked with Margie, directing her from Dallas, and Eric Dartek from Portland, Oregon, and audiences came from as far away as Scotland.
A year later, I directed Kate, Nita, and myself in a play about the First Ladies. We had our online audience gathered, and the show was wonderful, even though it had to be postponed a week due to Kate getting COVID again.
We finally opened. Kate was almost 100%. COVID restrictions were being lifted, and it almost felt like things might return to normal when,
The very week we opened our curtain online,
almost as our curtain closed,
Our wonderful friend and actor, Jill, who had fabulously portrayed the indomitable Irma Bombeck for Mother's Day, April 30th, May 1st, 2021, just 1 year earlier, married to the equally fabulous Dimitri, live online theater techie extraordinaire, learned the unthinkable.
Russia invaded Ukraine.
It took a couple of days for us to realize.
That one of Jill's
Brother-in-law and mother-in-law were in Ukraine. Jill wrote to let us know that her husband's family refused to evacuate so that they could help and shelter refugees in their church.
Our hearts ache for Jill and Dimitri and their family, and for everyone in this suffering world.
Our indomitable Irma Bombeck was now facing the horsemen.
The bloody brothers of war and disease filled the minds and hearts of decent humans everywhere. Just as COVID quarantines, masks, social distancing were over in the spring of 2022, theaters were opening everywhere except for the Donetsk Academic Regional Drama Theater in Mariupol. Its last performance was to shelter mothers, children, grandparents, the infirm, running from war. This beacon of art succeeded in saving hundreds, but hundreds more were not saved. The land that gives the world sunflowers needed that straight, tall, in-your-face flower to be everywhere, to be its emblem. Suddenly, sunflowers were everywhere, reminding our souls that one day we all must bravely come out of hiding to face the healing sun.
as the sun of spring cast its newborn light on the safe space that is my world in the Pacific Northwest, my cast of Sweet Surrender all came back. 2 years after, they all came back but one. I opened it a few weeks.
I was getting orders for costumes again, and the idea of running my hands over beautiful cloth to be seen and worn by fellow actors was a fragrant, heady thought, and I wanted to be creating again.
While the theaters were opening up, Kate and I decided that maybe, just maybe, we were onto something that should continue.
Oh, Jackie, I just heard you. You really think so?
I really think so, Kate. We have something. What, I don't know, but we have something.
Fabuloso. Now, wait till I tell you. I have this idea for an original play about
how we lived through it all?
Yes. Jackie, how did you know? It's going to be about how we faced the horsemen. We faced them down and kept going. Here's the first line. When you are going through hell, keep on going.
Make sure you give Churchill credit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Aye, aye, Captain. Aye, that'll do. Onward and upward.
Say goodnight, Katie.
Good night, Katie. And sleep well, for we live to create another day.
Dear audience, let's not be so formal. We're friends now. We know each other better. We have witnessed the first forays of war, of disease, of famine. For George, pestilence, war, famine, and disease. We shared 3 pictures in a staged triptych. Each picture was different, yet each one the same. In just a few minutes, each one of you will leave the comfort of your couch or easy chair or possibly even your bed. You might even grab a bite to eat first. Later, you will drift off to sleep. But as you do, we of all these epics, hope that you do not forget George, Emily, Peter, Richard, Jackie, Kate, et al. We hope that you are reminded that facing the horsemen is the way they survived, the way we survived. It's the way we created. It's the way we survived to create again.
Hello, everybody. Jan Thomas, co-producer of Unbox Productions, back with you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And I would like to introduce you to our cast and crew. I am going to change to gallery view so I can see each one of them as they come with us. First of all, Eric Barash. He's our technical director. We rely on him for so much. Thank you, Eric. Kim Sandstrom played our Margie. Hello, Kim. Hi, Kim. Rita Lewison-Singer was our Nita tonight. Hello, Rita. Hi, Rita. Christine McGovern was Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Erin McGrew-Herndon was our Emily and Kate. And Keith Craker played George, and then Richard, and also Eric. And Terry Polanski-Schwartz was our wonderful narrator. Hi, Terry. I thank them so much for all of their wonderful creative work. And I want to let you know that if you liked what you saw, you can donate throughout the next week on our website. I'm going to put our website in the chat. So you can at any time go to the website and then come back to us. I'm going to now bring out our author, Kim Sandstrom, and my co-producer. So Kim,
Thank you, Jan.
join us again.
Thank you, Jan. That was wonderful. Thank you for cast. Thank you. You don't know how much How many of you have ever written a play and seen it produced? If you haven't, let me tell you something. This is an exciting moment. You guys are wonderful. Jan, great job co-producing. Eric, great job. I loved you guys. And now I know that we have got an audience with us. In fact, nobody's left us yet, which is a great sign. We talked about it in the play when they stay all the way to the end. We have a couple special guests in the audience tonight. And our first special guest I'd like to introduce to you. I'd like for her to have her mic on and her camera on. And our special guest tonight is Amy Rath. And she is from Central Florida, right here in Ocala, but she is a licensed grief and loss counselor. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about how she ministered to and helped people get through the last couple years. We also have Tatiana Liashenko in our audience. And my friends, it is almost 1:30 in the morning where she is. Talk about time zones, Rita. Dnipro, Ukraine is 1:30 in the morning there right now, and she stayed up to join us. And Tatiana Liashenko's daughter-in-law and son were the ones that helped us produce Irma Bombeck, so they're with us tonight. Anything that's donated to our show, to our fundraiser over the next week, we're donating 50%, possibly more if we can, to her shelter because they are sheltering refugees there. So Amy, are you with us right now?
Yeah. Nice.
Hi, there she is. She came back. Amy was here last night. So, Amy, you have had the rare experience. Well, no, you've had nieces and nephews in theater, so you've seen shows multiple times. But you've seen the show twice now. You saw it last night and tonight. Did you hear anything different tonight?
Well, I think again, some of the themes that just really jumped out to me. It was something George said both nights that I heard myself say during this pandemic was, why does this thing not go away? And just hearing people still say that as we hear about potential new surges or uptick in cases, and people are weary, people are tired, people, are anxious and fearful. And so just looking at the weaving of history, how you did that so masterfully, I thought, of how people in historical times dealing with similar issues, saying and feeling a lot of the same things we are saying and feeling going through it now.
Thank you. Yes, I know that one of our board members came last night and he had talked about the universality of it. And that was something that I felt as somebody who has lived through this intensely with our family being hit so particularly hard. And I know that last night we had Helen Haskell from Mothers Against Medical Error, and I am a Florida representative. She is the founder. She gave us some very interesting ideas and shared some interesting things last night. One of the things that people often wonder about is why one family or one group of people get hit harder than others. They're actually, Helen and I have talked about this since the very beginning, and they are understanding that there are genetic differences that make some people and some families just so much more susceptible. And it is not always underlying conditions. It's sometimes that simple blood type. It makes a big difference. In general, I can say this as a MAME representative. Helen would agree. O's, people that have O type blood, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, seem to have protection. Seem to either never get it as bad, seem to be able to fight it better, and A's do not. So being at the head of your class doesn't work with this one. So little just an interesting thing. And as time goes on, I mean, we're really only 3 years into this. I mean, think about in terms of how viral things spread. We're new in research. We're new in discovery. It's going to, I believe 5 years from now, we're going to know so much more than we do right now. I accepted that from the beginning. I just accepted. It's going to be long. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be nice. It's going to be horrible. And here we go. I'm at the ready. Let's go. So, and I know we talked last night, Amy, about the special mission you had in trying to comfort and help people during this time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there are so many layers of grief attached to this COVID experience for people who have lost loved ones. Sometimes they could not be present with their loved one when they died because maybe they were in a hospital or nursing home and there were visitation restrictions. Sometimes families were hit with multiple losses. I dealt with children who lost both parents days apart. And so just the complexities and the complications of grief, sometimes too, when you have such a large scale tragedy, it's a collective loss, which can make it difficult for individuals to claim their own personal loss. And so just how important it is to validate people in their own personal loss, that their loved one wasn't just a statistic. And oftentimes that's all we were hearing, right, on newscasts, that the numbers, the sheer numbers of people who were diagnosed with COVID, but also who died. And people's individual losses can get lost in that. And people need validation, and people need to be heard and to be cared for one by one, because each loss is so important.
So it was, while it was collective and it was large and it was pandemic, it had to be brought down into individuals and moment by moment and person by person. And I understand that completely. Among our cast members, believe me, we was touch and go. When Nita talks about it being touch and go in real life, Rita, if you're still here, it was very bad last summer. And so, definitely. And even though it seems like things are improving, and they are, we know enough to know it could change. And we may have to go and do some other things for a while. Yesterday, before the show started, I obviously have theater friends in other cities. And I had one call and say, 3 shows in a large city just got closed. And so, and I'm going, they just reopened, but they got to close it. They had to close the show. They didn't close the theater. Mm-hmm. They didn't say they weren't going to do a show, but that particular show had to stop until everybody got better. So Helen Haskell last night, we talked about how back in January, February of 2020, long before everything really happened in a big, big way, she and I talked. She goes, we might as well just get used to this. This is the way it's going to be for 500 years.
Well, and Kim, you mentioned all those disappointments. Those are the losses that are valid too, as of the hopes that we're going to be able to get back to some kind of normalcy or doing the things we want to do. And the sheer loss of opportunity and the loss of being together with our coworkers, our playwrights and all cast members and things like that. And those are significant losses too, and disappointments. I heard one of your cast members say, I was depressed.
Yeah, and I think she was at that time when I based Nita on Rita. But one of the things that when I was doing the research for this, I actually came across some interesting research about the period of time following each of these pandemics. There was a strange resurgence, a strange, intense overcoming and new things happening and new discoveries. And it was quite interesting. I did talk to people who are so depressing. This generation of children that have had to live for these 2 years, they're going to be the most ruined generation. Guess what? I personally do not believe that. I absolutely personally do not believe that. It really depends on how you go forward. Yes. It really depends on your, is this an opportunity or is this, a total roadblock? Is this a chain link fence to find a way over? Or is this a bit bridge building time? What is it? And it's, hey, what does Kate say? Not Kate, Jackie. No, Kate says it. I should know, I wrote it. Cognitive flexibility is a sign of intelligence. So anyways, I sound like Emily Ann Moore now. I'm in love with my own play. I need to be quiet because I want to hear from the audience. They're still here. 22 of them are still here with us. That's pretty exciting. So I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to wait for a raised hand. If anybody can. Jan, you want to jump in, honey? We'd love to hear from you too. Don't be shy, everybody. Is Tatiana here? Is Jennifer here? Romper, bumper, stomper, boo. Tell me, do. Looks like, oh, there's Tatiana. Can you unmute her and put her camera on for me? I think that our audience, for some reason, can't get their mics and cameras on.
You see what I can do here.
Yeah. I'd like
you should be able to unmute yourselves.
Tatiana, can we see you, darling?
Hi.
Привет! Здравствуйте!
Привет.
Я не знаю русский язык. Я понимаю. I don't
Я не знаю английский. Но я все просмотрела. Все видела.
We love you. Как дела? Как дела? Хорошо?
Хорошо.
Yeah. I asked her how she was. She said she's great for the moment. Well, listen, darling.
Спасибо.
Spasiba. Absolutely. Tatiana, is Jennifer in the room with us? Is Jennifer here? Oh, Jennifer, are you here?
Jennifer, я не знаю. Хотела бы ее видеть.
Vanya. Oh, so if your mother talks, can you translate for us?
Yeah.
Great. How did you guys like the show? Were you surprised?
Yes, thank you so much. I was very, very, teary-eyed, and it was very sweet, loving, we felt the love for sure.
Oh, honey, I'm glad. And I know, go ahead, Ivan.
My mom said,
what?
My mom said that she watched everything. She didn't understand, but she watched everything.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Yeah, Tatiana. I don't know if I want to see your face. I want to see your красивый женщина. Красивая женщина. Did I say that right? You're a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Ivan.
Andy Cole just said, hi, we just want to tell you how interesting it was. Brought history together with today's reality. Wonderful performers. Thank you.
Great. Oh my God. Who is this? Wow. Tatiana. Tatiana. Oh, you're gone. Tatiana, darling, we're going to do our best. Yvonne and Jennifer, if you can translate, we're going to do our best to send several $100s. I'd like to send as much as $400 by the end of the week directly to her shelter. Compliments of our audience at Unboxed Productions. Can you tell her that, Yvonne?
Я, вам хотят пожертвовать или 400, или 700, я не понял, долларов. Да, да, $400 они пожертвуют.
Thank you.
Спасибо большое.
Большое спасибо. Big thank you. And Tatiana, and you know what? And I know that you folks are getting ready to host some refugees. Is that correct?
We just had some friends come. Yes, they were in Poland, and then they made it to Amsterdam, and from there to Mexico, and then just barely made it through, I guess, before they closed the border there. So it was very touch and go whether or not they did. And we've spent the last few days with them. We took them to San Francisco yesterday, and just had a lovely time. And it was wonderful. He got to see his family. He hadn't seen his family in 12 years. He hadn't seen his brother.
Oh wow!
A nephew. So
well,
yeah,
we're blessed and honored to have the gifts that we have to be able to create something that can help somebody else, provide community, provide a little inspiration, a little history. So
we're so grateful.
Well, we love you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, honey, we miss you on stage too.
Okay. We'll see.
All right. So Tatiana.
Да.
There she is.
Yes.
How do you say God bless? Blog. How do you say God bless? God. How do you say? What is it? Yeah, it looks funny, but yeah, it looks funny. Well, God bless you guys. Are there any other audience members that have questions for us? And we would.
Lee says it was an awesome performance. Thank you. I have to jump off, but so appreciative for what you all are doing. I read Candy's. Hi, we just want to tell you how interesting this was. It brought history together with today's reality. Wonderful performance, wonderful performers. And Daniel Harrison says, thanks, great performance. Thank you,
Keith.
Daniel.
Keith, your cousin loved it, Keith.
Yes, my cousin loved it.
Mom says, good job. Yeah.
Well, guys, let me go through our guest list here and let's see if I can embarrass somebody and make them speak to us. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I'm not. Okay, let's see. Peter McNabb came back. That's significant. He was here last night. Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
What brought you back, buddy? I mean, Reverend McNabb. Peter, are you there? Can you, is it impossible for you to unmute? Can we unmute and camera him?
Candy says we are a fan of Rita and of all the unboxing group. You have done some fabulous work and stayed with it. Thanks so much.
Yay! All the way from Hawaii. What time zone is that? That must be like noon there. Jen Warner is here, but they're all muted and their mics are off, so they can't do anything. Is there a way we can?
They can talk, but they have to unmute themselves.
They have to unmute themselves. Jen Warner's come back. Jen, I think this is like your 4th or 5th show here with us. Dee Collier. Somebody said, what's next for Unboxed and Productions? We think it's unboxing in Biloxi. Yeah.
Hope to do that.
Yep, that's what we think. And Candy Cole says, oh, you're in Florida. You just have a Hawaii phone number. Okay, you got me all excited there. I thought you were in some crazy time zone. Dee, can you unmic, please, so we can talk to you? There she is, Dee unmiked. And where's Dee? Dee.
Hey. He's one of our original unboxers.
She's one of our originals, and I even put her in the play. Did you hear that, Dee?
Oh my gosh, no, I left for a minute. I must have been that very minute. I'm sorry.
Snooze, you lose. That's the trouble with being in your own home. You can just go to the bathroom and nobody knows. There you go.
Well, some things like that have to happen.
Well, what did you say? Oh, Peter McNabb said it was absolutely amazing. Well, he didn't say absolutely. I added that. He said amazing and inspiring. So we're grateful for that. Grateful for that. Again, our fundraiser goes on through PayPal all through the end of next week. And then we will be giving our donation to Tatiana and her family in Ukraine. Peter, you got some commentary for us?
This is so touching. This is just so meaningful. And what's taking place here is just connecting people, and it's what you guys through the centuries we're connecting people, and that's just awesome to be able to do this and to see just the heart and the threads that run between us, and realization that of the humanness of all of us. We're all connected, and it's everything. I think you made God smile, and thank you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I like that. Very, very cool. Jen Warner, you had a question for me. How do I know about Tatiana? Because her daughter-in-law, which we did not get to see on camera, they were on their iPhone from Sacramento. She's a longtime actress friend of mine from Portland, Oregon, but she played Irma Bombeck a year ago tonight. She did an online theater production for us, and she was fantastic. So that to answer that question. Anybody else got any comments or questions?
I just want to read to you. I just want to read to you what I got from my daughter. Brava. Thank goodness you hadn't gotten on yet by the time we got in. It was a very arduous process to tune in, and this is for the future. Mark had to call Kim for her to send us a link that would actually work.
Yeah,
we enjoyed it very much. Congratulations.
So, Miss Rita, so I almost got my entrance because I got a call from Maryland.
Yes.
So let me just explain. So what we tried to do is close our box office about 6:45, because if somebody tries to buy a ticket after that, we were all in the room. And so it wasn't a matter of the system failing. It was, we just have to make it clear that you can't get a ticket after 6:45. Amen. Did everybody hear that? And I explained that. And I said, Mark, I gotta go. My part's coming up.
Thank you for making an exception.
Oh, well, honey,
I truly do appreciate it.
But you guys have to know, you're all really loud coming through the computer, and I can't hear him. All of that was going on.
I'm getting off, and thank you so much. And I'm delighted to see in person, Tatiana. Really, I am.
Very much so.
Yes.
I've been working.
Wonderful evening.
I'm working on my Russian through.
Good night, Rita.
Oh, bye, honey. Are you leaving, Rita?
Yes, I'm going to go. Yes, thank you. Good night. Hi, Larry.
Hey, her hero. Okay. Anybody else have it? We still have people in the room. Who's Stacy? I don't know Stacy. Stacy?
She's a friend of mine.
Oh, well, great. And thank you for bringing her.
She's a good friend. I had one or two things I wanted to add.
Okay.
The thing that surprised me, and I enjoyed both nights, but different things connected with me each night. And I don't understand why that is. And the thing
we know why.
Why is that?
Because it's never the same performance. Only a can performance movie. You watch a movie, it's going to be the same thing every time, but you go to the theater.
There were a lot of things that were the same. And it's just that the comments that people made, different comments connected with me differently last night and tonight. And I appreciated this very much. I mean, part of what's going on is you're forcing us to think about ourselves, about some aspects of ourselves dealing with the pandemic that we haven't thought about before.
Oh, yeah.
And one other thought comes to mind, and that is, and I've talked to my friends who watch this. I think I've had 4 or 5 friends on. And,
thank you.
There's just an opportunity here, I think, in terms of going forward, or to engage the audience in terms of, asking people how they felt about it, because irrespective of whether or not their observations are correct or incorrect, or the things they liked or didn't like, or theatrically, objectively true, for everybody or not, it still is probably representative of what a lot of other people are feeling when they log in and watch. But I really want to give you guys a standing ovation. I think you did a good job. Some of the things that people said just really profoundly connected with me, and I appreciated that a lot. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Lee. Thanks for your comments.
Well, Miss Jan, is it time for us to toddle on to get our jammies on, or go out and party? What is it? What's it time for?
Yeah, I need to get dinner. So.
Well, for some of our central time zone people, Peter, it's just 7:42, and people on the West Coast, Jennifer and y'all, it's 6:42. So it's the shank of the evening. So we're gonna have a good time. To each and every one of my cast members, you were all sublime. Tonight was a personal best. Everything was great. We're gonna probably, Eric and I hope, will work on getting a nice copy of this that we can put on YouTube. So we have a nice YouTube channel. Thank you, Stacy. I'm glad you came. And we are encouraging everybody to please like our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like all the videos. But the other thing that's very helpful for us is if you would go to our actual group page, our Facebook group page, and just share your thoughts about the show. Feel free to. People see that, and that's important. And then we like to share them and brag about it too. So there's that. Well, Madame Producer, without further ado, we're going to put this advanced table reading to bed, right? Is this it? We did it! Yay! Brand new show. All right. Congratulations, cast. Congratulations, producer. Congratulations, crew. Congratulations, audience, because we couldn't have done it without you.
Congratulations,
everybody.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was no author or anything like that. Oh, well. All right.
Goodbye, Tatiana.
Oh, I want you to do it. Do it.
Okay. Author.
All right. Love you guys.
Got some virtual roses.
Yes. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, I love them. All right. right. Good night, everybody, and God bless. Tatiana, we'll continue to pray for you. We'll talk to you next week, love. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.